2024 was undeniably a remarkable year for rap superstar Nicki Minaj. She shattered records with the highest grossing concert tour ever by a female rapper, bringing in $108.8 million across 70 shows. Beyond her tour success, she dominated album sales, outselling nearly every other rapper, except for Drake. And despite Drake's well-documented clashes, it was basically him versus everybody, he retained his position as the #1 top-selling rap artist of 2024. Meanwhile, Nicki Minaj solidified her title as the #1 top-selling female rapper of the year. What's even more impressive, neither Nicki nor Drake released an album in 2024. So I have to be honest, their performance, those sales numbers, speaks volumes about their influence and legacy in the industry. It doesn't matter if you're a fan or not, Nicki Minaj is cemented in history at this point. However, as we step into 2025, it seems the new year is already presenting challenges for the rap icon. She is now at the center of a serious lawsuit filed by her former manager, Brandon Garrett. He came forward with allegations of assault, battery, and emotional distress. The claims are heavy, and some believe she should be arrested on criminal assault charges, while her fans disagree. They're urging prosecutors to let it go, and so far, Triple OG City Girl DA Kim Worthy of Wayne County, Detroit, Michigan just might let them have their way. It's a lot to get into, so I won't waste any time. Let's go ahead and break it all down. Now, last Friday was a very busy day down at the LA Superior Court. You had the bombshell lawsuit that former Fox hairstylist filed against the company, Skip Bayless and Joy Taylor. There was also another lawsuit filed the same day. But this one was against one of the top-selling rappers of 2024, the #1 selling female rapper of all time, that's Nicki Minaj. Fridays are historically special for the Pink Friday rapper, but this Friday was a bit different. It's safe to say good news wasn't delivered to Mrs. Petty that Friday. In the lawsuit, Brandon Garrett, one of her former managers, accused Nicki Minaj of assault, battery, and intentional emotional distress. The suit also names Nicki's company, Pink Personality Inc., as a co-defendant. The incident in question allegedly took place on April 21st, 2024, after a concert at Detroit's Little Caesars Arena. Brandon, who identified himself as Nicki's day-to-day manager, says that on the evening of April 21st, he was summoned to the rapper's dressing room by her head of security. At the time, Brandon was on his way back from picking up ice cream that Nicki had personally requested. Upon entering the room, he found Nicki there along with her head of security and 5 other team members. What should have been a standard post-show meeting quickly escalated into chaos. The lawsuit claims that Nicki was upset about how responsibilities were being handled with her team. Specifically, a team member questioned Brandon about why another employee was told to pick up her prescriptions when she wanted Brandon to do it. Brandon explained that he delegated the task because Nicki wanted the prescriptions urgently, and he was busy assisting her in the dressing room during her performances. But it seems this explanation only fueled her anger. According to the manager, Nicki's response was nothing short of explosive. She allegedly began yelling and cursing at him, calling him, quote, crazy, and accused him of losing his mind. The lawsuit details that Nicki even made a chilling statement, saying, quote, if my husband was here, he would knock out your teeth. It didn't stop there. Nicki reportedly told him, quote, you're a dead man walking. You just effed up your whole life and you will never be anyone. I'll make sure of it. What happened next took things to a physical level. Brandon said Nicki struck him open-handedly on the right side of his face, causing his head to swing backwards as his hat flew off his head. That's when her security jumped up to make sure he didn't retaliate against her, but watched on as she continued to physically attack him. The lawsuit alleges that she hit him on his right wrist, causing him to drop documents he was holding before she kicked him out of the room. Fearing for his safety, Brandon says he locked himself in the bathroom for hours following the incident and called someone close to him to tell them everything that happened. The next day, he contacted Detroit police from the airport on the way to Chicago, their next stop. However, he was told that a police report could only be filed in person. So when he got to Chicago, he filed a report there, then went back to Detroit to file a formal police report there as well, where the assault took place. After Detroit PD conducted their investigation, they sent the case over to Kim Worthy's office. And if you've been around here for a while, you've seen my previous reports on Kim Worthy, so you already know where this is going. The Detroit Police Department requested an arrest warrant for Nicki Minaj, but Kim Worthy's office denied the arrest warrant due to, quote, insufficient evidence to prove that a crime was committed. Kim Worthy told the police department to further investigate, but for now, she's not moving forward with prosecution and the arrest warrant.
The Wayne County Prosecutor's Office has denied a warrant request for singer Nicki Minaj. The initial investigation all stems from a lawsuit over an incident that happened here in Detroit. Pamela Osborne is here to help us sort it all out.
Rapper Nicki Minaj was here at LCA back in April. It was during that leg of her tour that a former employee says he was assaulted by her. Nicki Minaj made headlines for what happened on stage during her Pink Friday 2 World Tour in the D. You may remember seeing it or hearing about it. If not, here's the video of a fan throwing something at the rapper during that April 21st concert. She picks the object up and chucks it right back. Well, now we're learning this may not have been the only controversy that took place that night. According to TMZ, Brandon Garrett, Nicki Minaj's former manager, is suing her, claiming she assaulted him after that LCA concert. TMZ reports 40-year-old Garrett says Minaj went into a rage when she learned he'd sent someone else to pick up a prescription for her. Then Garrett claims she hit him in the face. Detroit police investigated and a warrant was sent over to the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office. This afternoon, they announced the warrant request was denied due to insufficient evidence. A lawyer representing the rapper told TMZ the lawsuit, as reported by TMZ, is completely false and frivolous. He went on to say he's confident that the matter will be resolved swiftly in Nicki Minaj's favor. In Detroit, I'm Pamela Osborne, Local 4.
I'm definitely not surprised by Kim Worthy, her decision not to grant the police department's request for the arrest warrant. Kim is definitely one of the triple OG city girl prosecutors, no different from Kim Foxx over in Chicago, the former DA who just stepped down. Remember, she was over there beating on her husband, but if a woman ran to any of them with the same allegations, their response will be different. As for the former manager, he's suing for assault and intentional infliction of emotional distress. He's also seeking damages. No doubt about it, his lawsuit paints a disturbing picture of Nicki's behavior. He alleges that she berated, threatened, used profanities, and violently struck him multiple times. Brandon's attorneys argue that Nicki abused her position of authority and acted with conscious disregard for his well-being. I think this whole situation was unnecessary, and it was caused by Nicki's anger issues. You do have the right to be unhappy with your employees, their work, their performance, and it's okay to judge them for that. But you don't have the right to be putting your hands on people. He's accusing her of being physically and verbally abusive, and then she took it further with threats to his life and his livelihood. That's 1000% out of order. This is why she should take accountability and go ahead, settle this out of court to avoid dragging this out, allowing the blogs and folks that's against her to take this story and really apply pressure. That will be a total distraction at this time in her career. Own up to whatever you did and settle, unless you didn't do it. If none of this is true, then go through the whole court process and the media circus that'll follow. But again, if you know you did it, don't waste the court's time, the people's time. Just take accountability for what you did and cut the check, because obviously you're safe in Wayne County. Triple OG city girl Kim Worthy, she won't do anything to you anyway. We all know if roles were reversed, they would have been hitting a man with state charges and federal charges. And side note, I just thought about something. People always wondered, why did Nicki Minaj marry a man that seemed to be not on her level? But I think what a lot of people fail to realize, when you take money out of the equation, they are on the same level, mentally. And the only way that Nicki is able to get along with her registered offender husband is the fact that she's able to use him as her crash out dummy. And I bet she's never this way with him. Nah, this kind of treatment is reserved for her staff and people underneath her, her servants. See, there's a line she won't cross with him. She's dealing with a violent killer, and that's the only reason why she won't give him the same treatment that she's got no problem giving other men. That's why for some women, they don't want good guys. They're gonna run over them. Some of them are really attracted to these kind of dangerous people. That's because they also have a level of danger to them, and they use that other person to do their dirty work. Now, Nicki seems to have different personalities. She's really sweet with her barbs, but for anybody else, you're probably going to get a different character. Sounds like Brandon got Roman. And I remember back years ago, you would hear about these incidents with her, usually involving her staff. She's very nice to fans, but rude to staff. My thing is this, if you didn't like him sending somebody else to get your prescriptions, all you had to do was say that. You don't put hands on your staff. And if they're not performing to your standards, you get rid of them, fire them. There's just no excuse, male or female, for putting hands on your staff. Then Nicki knew she wouldn't face any immediate consequences because she had a bodyguard there that was also implicit. That's another thing. All these bodyguards coming out with the tea 15, 20 years later, but when everything was popping off, they were a part of it too. I don't want to hear your tell-all book 20 years later or your tell-all interviews. I think that's out of order too. You're actually more of an accomplice than a whistleblower. But yeah, let's go ahead and get the conversation started. Will Kim Worthy later decide to move forward with the case? Or is civil court the only path to justice for the victim? Tell me what you think about this case below. Special thank you to Daniel. I appreciate you, Daniel, for all of your support for the channel, as well as Melvin G, Samuel, Dark Power, Anthony, and Starlet. You can show your support as well. The link to PayPal is below. Ladies, fellas, want a balanced analysis, want the truth from a woman's perspective? Then you're going to want to subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to like and share.